No way!
You're watching the Fox Sports.
No way!
You're watching the Fox Sports presentation of B.A.S.S.
Welcome, everyone. Welcome to Knoxville, Tennessee and East Tennessee on the Tennessee River for the 2023 Academy Sports and Outdoors Bassmaster Classic. This is the biggest single day in the sport of fishing when we crown our world champion. So great to have you with us. So great to be in this special place right here. What a match in the heart of bass fishing country. Look at the people lined up to get into the Bassmaster Classic Outdoors Expo. It is a big event. This is the center of our universe. Everyone who loves fishing enjoys this day, waits for this day. 25 anglers have made it to this day. Tommy Sanders here with Mark Zona, former Classic champ Davey Height. And fellas, this is the big one. We've had a lot of stories working today, and it continues. We're moving closer and closer to the ultimate moment.
No doubt about it, Tommy Sanders. A big weekend here in Knoxville, Tennessee. And the great thing about it, unbelievable crowds. The crowds that we got to see here in 2019, well, I can say the group that has come this time around definitely going to rival that. And the best way to put it, if you joined us yesterday on FS1, this tournament was being dominated by one angler, Jeff Gustafson from Canada. Oh, how things have slightly changed here on Championship Sunday.
They certainly have. You see, things have tightened up quite a bit since this morning's takeoff. Gussie with only one fish in his live well right now. Most of us, including me, I guarantee you, did not expect to see this. He's been managing his fish so well. Really thought he'd have a limit by now, but things have certainly tightened up.
Yep, started out this day with a couple of good heavy steps ahead of everyone else. It may be down to about one step right now. He's got plenty of room to grow, though, however. He's only one fish to a 5-fish limit right now. That's something to keep in the back of your mind as we bring you down to our playing field here, Mark Zona.
Yeah, taking a look at Fort Loudon and Tellico. You're looking at them, let's just call it about 90 miles of water, but two drastically different lakes. Fort Loudon a lot dirtier, fishes a lot shallower, and Tellico a lot deeper, and that, for the most part, has been where this tournament has been dominated.
Yeah, the big missing link, in my opinion, the big missing link has been Fort Loudon and the largemouth bass have really not shown up this week like we thought.
No, they have not, but we'll see what happens this afternoon. Welcome to all of you. Welcome to the Bassmaster Classic Outdoors Expo. We saw the big line in the footage before of people. This place is going to be so crowded by the end of the day. A big event, and we just going to watch what unfolds this afternoon, guys.
Yeah, and really it's been very slow for your leader who's dominated the first 2 days of this event, Jeff Gustafson. He only has one bass in his live well. And the best way to put it with Jeff Gustafson, he owns this lake. He is by far and away the boss of Tellico. And what you've seen, he won an Elite Series tournament in 2021, wire to wire, and he's been going wire to wire in this one, but only one fish in his live well. The saving grace right now in this event, the rest of the top 10, brutal fishing so far today.
It's been really tough on him, no doubt about it. And Gussie has done so well. You knew he had to show that he's human at some point. Yesterday made the 6th day in a row, 4 days in the Elite Series tournament and 2 days in the Bassmaster Classic. He's been able to bring in 5 smallmouth bass over 18 inches. That is not easy to do. It's certainly not going to be easy for him today.
All right, well, we're going to take a look at what has happened so far. Only 3 days of fishing in the Bassmaster Classic, and they go by very quickly. Here's what happened in day number 1. This is the Tennessee hopeful in here, Brandon Lester, a very hot fisherman in the world now.
Really anchoring his stringer with that late day big one, and that's the one thing that we have seen this week. The presence of a big largemouth late every single day of this tournament.
Yeah, he didn't have that yesterday, and that's what he only came in with 10 or 11 pounds. He's got to do that today.
Jeff Gustafson hoping to be the second international angler ever to win a Classic, first Canadian.
Yeah, and let's kind of talk about what we've seen with Gustafson. He only needed about 25 minutes of fishing on day 1 of this tournament, getting the job done. Predominantly left alone throughout this tournament, but has been worried with the warming nights. Would those deep smallmouth hold?
Another angler with a lot of momentum in our world, and that is Brian Schmidt from the Chesapeake Bay area, Atlantic Seacoast.
Brian Schmidt with a great plan, we thought, and I don't understand why he hasn't caught a few more today than he has. John Cox, on the other hand, a great plan, cranking dirty water, real shallow water, largemouth bass for him. Looking for him to catch a big one later today.
So those were your big anglers on day number 1. Now here's your day 2 again, and Jeff Gustafson again trying to do something else. It's hard to do, win wire to wire.
And look at the lead that he had coming into today, just under 6 pounds. That does not sound like a lot on this body of water. That is a massive, massive lead.
Well, let's take a look at what has happened today. Of course, Jeff Gustafson getting off to not the start he had imagined. We've already talked about that. Only one fish in his live well. He's only going to feel safe until he has 5 smallmouth in that live well. Take you out to Scott Canterbury, former Progressive Bassmaster Angler of the Year. Getting some momentum going today.
Yeah, and one of the things Davey Height, a Bassmaster Classic champion up here on the desks, said yesterday afternoon, one of these anglers is going to have to crack the code of these bigger largemouth early here on Championship Sunday.
He's done it, but crack the code with 7 pounds doesn't really sound outstanding, but it really is. He has cut the lead in half that Gussie had on him when he left this morning. The big thing, like you mentioned, though, Tommy, he's got 4 fish in his live well. Gussie only won. A lot of room to move for Gussie.
A lot of room to grow. Brian Schmidt out there today in a place that he had a lot of confidence in. He told us after 2 days of fishing there, not as much action as he wanted early on.
Yeah, the consistency, though, has been there on Fort Loudon, like it was in the Bassmaster Classic here in 2019. Brian Schmidt getting bit. Size has been a factor, throwing a little shaky head worm, doing a pretty much Potomac River 101 where Brian Schmidt cut his teeth. 14 inches for the largemouth, and the big kicker that we will keep our eye on, Jeff Gustafson fishing for smallmouth that have to be 18 inches or better.
A lot of Canadian fans here in town, plenty watching from up north, and oh man, pinning their hopes on this guy. He's got a lot of pressure on him. Absolutely, anybody with the lead starting the final day of the Classic has pressure.
Yeah, no doubt about it, and he's handled it well. He really has. The first place that he wanted to start is where he caught his final fish yesterday that he weighed in. It helped him quite a bit. There was another angler there. He handled that quite well and moved on to some other places. It's just been slower for him to get those bites today, the ones over 18 inches.
Well, let's get out live to Jeff Gustafson. Tellico Lake is where he has been basing his operations throughout the entirety of this tournament.
Yeah, I'm around some fish. I can't catch them. They're hard to catch here. So pretty frustrating. I just had another one do a little drive butt. Oh! Whole bunch of them. Come on, give me another chance. Yeah, it doesn't feel like a big one.
And we're definitely going to get a look at
And just spit up a perch.
Gussie is looking at on his sonar.
I wish they only had to be 14. But not here. But yeah, I mean, I'm seeing some fish. They're just nipping and not biting, and just tough. I'm sure it's tough for everybody, but sure feel good if I can catch a couple more of these things that are the right size. And I did really, you know, I didn't spend hardly any time practicing for largemouths. This is, you come here to win this tournament, and I like my chances with the smallmouth, so we're gonna stick to that. I had one little stretch where I think I could catch a few largemouths maybe on a crankbait, but I just think with no wind like this, it's just, that's gonna be brutal too. So I'm gonna just keep picking away here, and I need that to keep happening, like just where I run into a fresh group that hasn't seen a bait, or like those ones were just like red hot there, and I just didn't get hooked up on the first bite. But if I get to a few more chances at that, that's kind of my best shot at a at a bigger fish. I just put a lighter head on, like a 3/16 ounce head, which I never use, but it's just so calm that I always use a 3/8, and it's just like, I feel like it's maybe just was swimming by some of these things like too fast. So this one's just a little lighter. I can kind of float it a little better, but yeah, not as much fun today so far, but we're just about at the halfway point, and you know, so I still got time, but if I get them here, I'm gonna earn it.
About the first time in this tournament, you're hearing doubt.
Yes.
If you look at day 1 and
it's
day 2,
you know, it's been tough. I thought today might be tough with that weather being gone and it's calm, but we got 4. I mean, 2 decent fish and 2 keepers. So we just need a couple of big bites and we'll be right. I mean, I need 4 or 5 bites, but realistically, we need a couple of those 4 or 5 pound bites and we'll be right where we need to be. I mean, we're not out of it. We're going to get some more bites. We just need to catch a big one or 2. I've been trying to change it up. I've thrown a buzz bait a bunch, a Canterbury Pro Buzz. Spinner bait's been probably a big key today. I caught several on it, but only 1 good keeper. It's probably going to be, more than likely, it's going to be a jig the rest of the day because of the weather. I just think that it's setting up for it, and hopefully we'll get a couple of those key bites, or either around wood or docks. Either one, you know. I've been catching some on docks too, and I've been waiting on that sun to get right to fish some docks. So it's getting there now, and it's time that we need to make it happen. I've ran down the lake a little ways. I'm gonna go a little further and try to fill my limit out, and then I'm gonna get back up the lake to where I've had my bigger bites this week, and hopefully I'll get to spend 2 or 3 hours up there. I'm gonna check the back of a creek. This water's coming up a lot, and last time we was here, I caught a lot of fish in the back of a creek, and I couldn't get it going back there this time. You could get in there even with it low, but the water temp was really cold. There's a lot of wood back there, so I got to check at it. Hadn't been fished all week. Trying to keep it, you know, hit some fresh stuff too, hopefully to catch a big one like that. So there's giants in here. This Tennessee River's got them, and we're looking for a couple of them the rest of the day.
Mm-hmm.
Second place, Scott Canterbury. He's right. This place does happen. We have a 20-pound bag. 2 of them in excess of 20 pounds the last time we had a classic here. And the potential always there. It's always playing in the background.
And it has been better for the people targeting largemouth in the afternoon, but I think the wind has been a big part of that. The sun, like Scott mentioned, but also the wind.
Well, and that's really the scary thing for your leader coming into today, Gussie. Most of his damage has been done by about 11:30.
Yes.
Largemouth have bit late in the day.
Yes.
All right, heading down to Drew Benton, our own Robbie Floyd, who's always where the action is on every day of the Classic. In the area right now, what are you looking at, Robbie?
Well, I'm looking at such skinny water. I am stuck like Chuck right now, Tommy, because I've been in deep water pretty much the entire Classic until this one pocket I came to. I'm following Drew Benton. He's already made that move. He caught 1 smallmouth early, his first spot. And what was crazy, if you weren't joining us this morning on Bassmaster Live, it was literally a spot that Gussie came to. They looked like they were going to share. Gussie fished it for maybe 30 seconds and said, no, this ain't worth it now. I'll try and hit it later. Drew caught 1 keeper. Spent the rest of a couple of hours, had some followers, had some takers, had one that measured 17 and 7/8 inches long. It was not another keeper, so now it's largemouth time. He's not at the spot he wanted to go to first. He went into this one pocket, totally blown out. It looked like chocolate milk. Left it. This is the second spot he came to. He went into the very back of pocket. I believe it's Concord in here, to the very back, super skinny, no bites. He even saw a little current. He said there should have been a fish there, no bites. He said if he doesn't get some bites around here on some laydowns here in the back of Concord. He's going to go to the spot where he caught those largemouth. He was giving it a little more time instead of hammering it right off the bat. And I know there's some laydowns, some a tree stump. There's a root ball that he caught 3 fish on, as well as a floating boat dock. So, or a boat, a little black boat dock that, of course, y'all can talk about it later. So he's going to hit that spot here in just a second. But I got to catch up to him because I got in way too shallow of water.
Robbie, thank you so much. Good stuff from Robbie Floyd out there with Drew Benton currently in 4th place. Drew started well, had a fast start, fastest start of all, as a matter of fact.
Yeah, and really the one thing to watch on Fort Loudon is we have seen big largemouth every single day of this tournament from basically noon until weigh-in. Look for the same thing today, especially with the warming water. All right, that clock is ticking. We're past the halfway point of the day. In this day, Jeff Gustafson mentioned that. He's keenly aware of it, trying to hang on to that lead. He's got a lot of headroom, though. We'll be back.